All right, today we're jumping into a really fascinating new study. It gets right to the heart of the connection between what you eat and, believe it or not, the actual biological age of your brain. Let's get right into it.
So let's start with the big question, right? It almost sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but this is exactly what researchers were trying to figure out. Can you, with a specific diet, actually turn back the clock on your brain? The answer they found, well, it's pretty wild.
Okay, so this whole thing kicked off because of an earlier study that was, frankly, a huge deal. Researchers had found that a Mediterranean style diet could cut age related brain shrinkage, that's called atrophy, by nearly half in just 18 months. I mean, that's an incredible result, but it left this huge question mark hanging in the air.
And that's where this new analysis comes in. See, it wasn't enough to know that the diet worked. The team had to put on their detective hats and figure out the why. What was the actual mechanism happening inside the body that was giving the brain this powerful protective shield?
You know, the most obvious suspect was weight loss. I mean, the people in the diet groups lost weight, and we all know that's generally a good thing. But was that the whole story? Or was there something deeper, something more specific going on that could explain why their brains were physically looking younger? That was the mystery they had to solve. So to figure this out, they looked at data from a trial called Direct Plus. They had split people into three groups. First, a control group just getting standard healthy diet advice. Second, a Mediterranean diet group that also got walnuts. And then there was the Green Mediterranean group. They ate the same as the second group, but with two extra things: daily green tea and a special shake made from something called menkai. It's this tiny, protein-rich aquatic plant, kind of like a supercharged microgreen.
And once they started crunching the numbers, they found their first huge clue. And it turned out that the obvious answer wasn't the right one at all. This is where the detective story really picks up steam. So, get this. The absolute biggest factor in predicting a younger-looking brain wasn't how much weight someone lost. Nope. The data pointed loud and clear to something else entirely: glycemic control, or in plain English, how well your body manages its blood sugar. Now, the key measurement they use for this is called HbA1c. You might have actually heard of this test, especially when people talk about diabetes. It's a really simple blood test that basically shows your average blood sugar over the last few months. Think of it like a report card for how your body's been handling sugar long term.
And what they found was this incredibly clear pattern. At the very start of the study, the people who already had biologically younger brains also had better metabolic health across the board. We're talking lower blood sugar, lower insulin, lower blood pressure, the whole shebang. It all pointed in the exact same direction. A well-run metabolism seems to be a hallmark of a youthful brain.
And this brings us right to the study's main conclusion, straight from the authors themselves. It wasn't just a coincidence. The people who made the biggest improvements in their blood sugar during the study were the same ones whose brains aged the slowest. So, mystery number one? Solved. Better blood sugar control is a direct way to protect your brain. But of course, solving one mystery just opened up another one. Okay, so if blood sugar is the key, then what was driving the best blood sugar control? Because when you look at the results, one of the diet groups just blew the others out of the water. And this chart just says it all. This shows the percentage of people with pre-diabetes who actually reversed it. They got back to normal blood sugar levels. So the first two groups, they hovered around a 30% success rate, which is pretty good. But just look at the Green Med group. A whopping 58% of them fixed their pre-diabetes. That is a massive, massive difference. So what was their secret weapon? Well, it came down to those two extra things they were having every day: the Monkai shake and the green tea. And what's the one big thing they have in common? They are both absolutely loaded with these amazing plant compounds called polyphenols. And the link was undeniable. The more of these green superfoods people had, the more their brain aging slowed down. Specifically, having more than 3 Monkai shakes a week or just 2 cups of green tea a day was tied to a younger brain. And, this is the really crucial part, that was true even after they statistically took weight loss out of the equation. So, let's put all the puzzle pieces together. The researchers started with this question: why can a diet slow down brain shrinkage? They followed the clues, and what they found is a clear, powerful roadmap for protecting our brain. And here it is, the big takeaway. The road to a younger brain isn't just about losing weight. It's a very specific path that runs straight through getting your blood sugar under control. And you can supercharge that process by flooding your body with these polyphenol-rich foods. And we even have a pretty good idea of how this is working. As the study points out, polyphenols are kind of special. They're one of the few things that can actually cross the super protective barrier around our brain. And once they get in there, they're thought to calm down inflammation and maybe even help grow new cells in the hippocampus, which, is mission control for our memory.
So the real final thought from this amazing piece of scientific detective work isn't just that your diet matters, it's how it matters. And it leaves all of us with a really practical question to chew on. Based on all this, what's one simple, green, polyphenol-packed ingredient you could start adding to your day?